I guess I'll start. So yeah, Etherplay is like the new company I created. So it's actually the idea behind it started quite a while ago, maybe 6 years ago. Basically, I was I was working basically in the casual game industry, like making free-to-play game for other companies, like as an employee. And I mean, there are some good games there in using that model, but I wanted to find a different business model for game developers. And last year, I discovered Ethereum, which is a blockchain technology, and it kind of bootstrapped the project because it offers things that the other platform similar to Etherplay was not providing. So Etherplay is basically a skill game platform, which is basically player can play every time a game like an arcade machine. So they will spend like maybe for our case it could be 20 cents, and then they play a game session. And their goal is basically to try to get the best score. And we run currently a competition that have a duration of 1 week. So at the end of every week, the top player get money. Actually, I mean they get Ether, which is a currency. So they pay in Ether and they get Ether if they are good enough. So I mean, currently we have 2 games that we made ourselves. The idea of the platform is that other developer make games. So this one is like just a simple mouse control game where your pointer is actually the octopus. This one is an asteroid clone, kind of with. So for example, here I don't know which competition was it, but that was some real data here for. So of course the price of Ether fluctuates a lot. So I mean it depends. So what's unique about Etherplay compared to the other one is because I don't know how many of you are aware of the Web3 stack, or basically, can you raise your hand if you heard about the word Web3? Okay. So yeah, I mean it's basically the way to interact with Ethereum, and there is other platform actually that want to kind of compete with Ethereum, and also they provide this API. And what you get, so we can go to a low price per game without deposit. So all the other platforms require you to deposit money, which means as a player, you really need to invest yourself before. While as a cryptocurrency user, you can just try the game by spending 20 cents. And maybe if you are lucky, currently we don't have so many players, so you can get lucky and get some money back. Actually, the way it works is that we don't have accounts for player on our server. So that's also an advantage actually that I didn't have a slide for it. Its advantage here is in terms of implementation for our platform, because we don't need to deal with all the security involved, like taking care of we don't store their funds because all is decentralized. They have an account that is part of the blockchain, and we don't touch that. We cannot even touch it. So it's make the even the legal aspect, I mean, about owning the fund, we don't have to care about that. And there is instant reward at the end of the competition. So other platforms require you to win a certain amount before you are able to withdraw. And we also have a transparent record of the competitions. It's actually probably fair, which means that if we were to cheat, it will be visible. So even ourselves as a platform, we cannot cheat in the game. I mean, I don't know if it's that important. In the cryptocurrency community, it is. And in some way, I think it's quite cool. But yeah, so we call it the transparent skill game platform. So what else? I think we also want to not only innovate on that, because actually the main idea behind was to be able to bring game developer to do to have a different business model. And so we want the diversity that there is in the indie game community. So I mean, if you look at the competitors, they provide basic puzzle game like Candy Crush kind of type of game, and they didn't explore much. So We like to see also the innovation that there was in the free-to-play game. What was good about it was the fact that to keep player engaged, they keep adding new features, and it will be great to have that on the platform as well. Even episodic stories, so if you have a cool story and you want to make a game, but it's maybe a small scale game at the beginning at least. That's what the vision basically. So we are an open platform and welcome the game developer to build games on it. We take a fee from the player, so it's 25%, which is a standard in skill game. It might change, will maybe change down, we will not go upper, and 70% of this go to the game developer. So basically the idea is you can make games and get paid in Ether. So this is the address of the website. So all of this is possible thanks to Ethereum. So it's basically, Ethereum is like Bitcoin, it's a decentralized payment mechanism that can potentially be faster and cheaper. I say potentially because there is lots of parameter in it, but the future of cryptocurrency with the payment channel, if you read about them, then it should really be cheaper. It's a notary system, so it's a timestamp of the data. So it's immutable, so you can. So for our case, you can prove I started the game at that specific time, and then I submitted at that specific time. So you can basically claim you're winning if we fail to because everything is recorded basically. And on top of that, you get something else that Bitcoin don't have, or at least not easily, is that you can have something running on the blockchain. And this allows stuff that cannot be done otherwise. And this is the latest game that is not released yet. So it's the first preview ever. And so in order to play it, all this game, you need one of the Ethereum browsers out there. So some are just signers, so they don't run a node, while the other on the right, like these two, they basically are a full node. So, it's a detail, I guess. But so this is the address of the game. I can show you using. So this is an Ethereum browser that the node run on my machine. So, and the address here is interesting because it's not a classic DNS name. Actually, ETH is not Ethiopia. It's actually Ethereum, and it doesn't exist if you go to a normal web browser. But the BZZ protocol is basically distributed file storage. So, and it contacts on the blockchain of Ethereum to check the names that have been registered on the blockchain. So all of it is decentralized. It will always be there, and it cannot be shut down, even by me. It's finished now. It exists there, except yeah, okay. So it's loading from my distributed file storage node, and it's just HTML. Oh, there is even sound. Okay, it's a bit slow. I don't know why, but maybe the. So, oops, I need to connect. So basically, you need to connect as a security measure. You need to select the account. Here, it's not real Ether; it's testnet Ether. So it's like another network just for testing purpose. So there is no value in it. So this game is, so now I need to create a new game, and basically what it does, I create a transaction on Ethereum with some of the value. For example, here it's 1 Ether, and I forgot the password. Yeah, good. Okay, so it has been created. So now so before created, basically look for a game that existed. And yes, something has to be done. So he didn't find a game, he created a game. Now some other player might come and might use the same parameter, and so will connect to the same game. And on the game start, so it's a very simple game. It's a bit like rock, paper, scissors, but a bit more complicated and more interesting. And what happened is that, imagine I want to play with one of you, and we don't really trust each other. We sit on a table, but we want to play with money, because I guess that's kind of the idea here. And you put, all of us, both of us, we put €5 on the table. So I guess we can trust that, and we play. But then someone can run with the money, one of us can run, or he can kill me, or whatever. Basically, Ethereum, what it provides a way, actually, not even to people from across the world to actually put the money. And at the point where the game starts, it is guaranteed that the winner will get the money. There is no way, there is no possibility to run. So it takes quite a while. So someone joined, but now you will need to make the first move. So the way it works is that it joins, it starts the game, and then it's still you need to make his move. So, okay. It's testnet only. So it was built, I don't know what time is it, I guess it's running fast, because I'm here to talk about Haxe also. But, so what was this built? So there is two things. The Skillian platform is a bit more complex because it's not completely running on the blockchain, but there is a smart contract, which is what is run on the blockchain. The interface with basically the games and what is it to talk to the blockchain. And then for the platform, we have I call it the blockchain reader, which will actually read so basically the proof of the player, the replay of the player, and replay the games to check if they put the scores that they say. And for the game, Tug of War is actually a lot simpler, because it's just a smart contract and then the interface, which is the game. So Haxe was used for the interface, was for the platform. It was like 2,000 lines of code, just to interact. It's all about how is the player, is it connected, is the node syncing, because the node need to be synced, and all these checks. The game works, it's a quite small game. So the blockchain, all this is written in Haxe with Node.js for the blockchain reader, and some deployment tool. They are in progress basically. And smart contract is coded in another language. It's 500 lines of code, and the web server it was done in Go, not in Haxe. So why Haxe? So I started doing games back in like 2010, making Flash game. And for me, the first reaction is, why company still? I guess now I understand a bit more, but that was my first reaction. Like, why this crazy? And so I come from basically before it's spare time C++ Java, and then I went to ActionScript. I discovered ActionScript, but then quickly I heard about Haxe. So I always wondered about other language, and the latest was Elm, the one who caught my attention. But in the end, I think the pragmatism and multi-platform and the game orientation of Haxe kept me there. So Haxe cool stuff is type safety, of course, when you deal with JavaScript. And the JavaScript output is very good. This means the library I wrote, I can also give it out to the Ethereum community, which is not necessarily interested in Haxe or for whatever reason. And this the best cross-platform base layer out there. I'm pretty sure of that. So that's what we prefer to use, like to be low level. And abstract are very good for optimization, readability, and type safety. Macro are quite powerful and handy sometimes. I really like typedef for JSON, for example. And I like the way multi-platform is done with almost no compromise, so you can still access the raw thing if you want. For games, for car and Spriters, this one was cool because it has been tested for zero allocation, so there is no allocation. It was tested on C++ for with the telemetry thing with this library. I need to test if it's still compatible with. But Spriter basically is cool. So when you instantiate it, you know that there will be no allocation when it runs. And so you can use GC usage to make your unit test as well. And Cage is a library for K that provide compile like type-safe access to the shader for the buffer and the uniforms. But we don't use it because I mean we use 2D game mostly. So yeah, and there is another library that we use with macro to do the game twice, one with the graphics, one without. So because what we do is that we separate the model from the graphics, because since the game needs to be replayed, it's easier. And so what we do for the rendering is actually interesting, is that we just read the model every frame and we draw. So we can use a very low level API like K, and that's it. That's all we need. And with Spriter for the latest game. So on the other hand, for Ethereum, so there is a Web3 API, which is basically a JavaScript library that under the hood talk to the node via JSON RPC. And we just so basically the Web3 stack is all about decentralization. So I mean, if you hear in the news now, it's very frequent that someone acts a company, and then suddenly all the private data of everybody is revealed. So with blockchain now, you can have another way where to hack, you have to hack that specific private key. So it means you will never be able to access all data at once. So I think that's where we will see it used. But concretely, the API is so you can sign data with a user private key, send transaction with money, or just interacting with contract, and you also function to access the block and stuff. And get logs, the interesting thing, is a way for blockchain to emit event, and you can access them. So we write partial extern for it because we only do for what we use. And the other libraries, so all you can see on GitHub on the Etherplay repos. And we also have built some tools. And we are building like a test runner. So it's so a test runner, basically you define the set of transactions. So you can test the edge case of, for example, of the game, like he is a player. So one of the things this game does is that if you have a timeout, because else it will be easy, I stop playing, and then so the money never get to the other guy. I guess it never get back to you, but so there is timeout, and if you don't play, so the basic timeout is 24 hours, because the idea of this game is so you can play asynchronously on your own schedule, and you just check in and play. And what we build, this started as a macro. It basically takes the smart contract. So this is a smart contract written in Solidity. I mean, it looks a bit like JavaScript, except it's typed, and the other things. So yeah, this is basic. And so from that, you get when you compile, you get ABI, which is basically the interface of the contract. And when you use the Web3.js library, you get a JavaScript interface for all these functions. So you can call them, and it will. What you call them, you can either do a read-only call, which will return if this function returns something, or you could do a write, which will write on the blockchain. And so JavaScript, since it's not typed, I mean, it's annoying when you want to change something. So here it used to be a macro, and now it's a template-based code generator. So this is the template, and you do lots of stuff, but basically, and it output even bigger file. And this is generated. So you have all the function with the parameters, and so this is very handy when you change your smart contract and your code failed to compile, and then you know that okay, when it compile back, you know you can go back. Yeah, and so then there is Etherplay.js. This is a library used for game. So if you want to make a game, you just put that into your HTML file, and then you call the correct function in the order required. There's a few things to do, and then you can have your game running on the platform. So currently it's not released anywhere, but basically if you want to make a game, just contact me, and then yeah, there is few things we need to improve as well. So it will be good to get feedback. So what to do next on that side is really like, I mean, our extern are not so nice right now. There is still dynamics, and also Web3 is moving to change a lot. So there is a 1.0 version in the work. It changed a lot, so I will have to rewrite it. But I think I might go to another library which basically provides the same API but in a different way, and probably so complete the extern really, and test runner as well. Yeah, we are also redesigning the platform as well, because for every transaction you make, you pay the miners as well. And currently we are actually making our system is not as efficient as it could. So it makes we cannot go too low, because the price that you pay is like you can go 20 cents, but I forgot how much go to the miner. Maybe it's 5 cents. So it's quite a lot actually. No, it will be less, I think. But it's still quite a lot, and if we could go lower, then we could reduce the price or get more money. So what can you do with that? So you can use the Web3 externs to interact with Web3 and have a go. Make games and get paid in Ether. So spread the word if you know people that might be interested to make games, like simple high score based games. That's the idea. But I'm also interested to hear turn-based game idea, like the one near Tug of War. Because I could help like build another of this unstoppable game, and all of this in Haxe, of course. Yeah, thanks. So he played. So now he played some move, but I don't know how much. So the idea of this game is that you have 50 units at the beginning, for example, but I don't know how much he put. So I just slide. Oh, it's very slow here. But so let's say I send 6 units. So now, unfortunately, I have to wait. But basically, and you need to win 3 more rounds than the other. So you start with each have 3. I have 3, like you see, 3 green things. So I have 3, and I need to go up to 6. And so basically, I spend 6 units, but maybe I spend 1. So I will win 1 round, but then I will have less units for the next, and that's basically it. Yeah. Any question? Yeah.
You said there's a provably fair aspect to that. Can you say more about how that works? How it's provably fair?
I can try to explain. So we have a blog on the website. I explain maybe a bit more detail, but basically, so the player, when he starts the game, he gets a seed that is not generated by us. He gets the seed from the blockchain. He plays the game, and at the end of the game, he submits all the data of his game. Then multiplayer do that. Then at the end of the week, we take all this data, we replay them, and for each that pass and that gives the same value, we add them to the high score list, and the top gets the reward. So basically, if we were not putting one of them, you could tell everybody, look, I did this there, my data, it works, and because all of this can be replayed, the game can be replayed. So yeah, basically that's how it will work. So it's it's not on, it's on them to prove, kind of. So it's, yeah.
So even for Asteroids, which is a real-time game, it can replay the
Yeah.
population of the players.
So basically, I mean, I show you. So this is the website. So for example, this asteroid game. So I need to close everything, I think, because I think it might be slow. Okay, wrong network, yeah, because the platform is on the real network. Yes, so you can now, the jackpot, which will be distributed among the top player, is that, let's see the high scores. So, yeah, no, I don't want. But basically, the winner currently wins 0.03 Ether, so it's not that much, it will be maybe 8 euro. And the competition ends Tuesday. Yeah, and so I can click, for example, on the top one, and I can see his replay. I mean, there was attempts, of course, to cheat on this game. So I mean, the obvious one was slowing down the game. So because we check the time, I mean, actually the smart contract checks the time because you commit at the beginning and then you submit at the end. So they were just shut down before they even reach the stage where so we didn't even to check them. Some were trying to just put the score they wanted, but of course because we verify the game, then it failed. Yeah, it's very slow. But it's just because I think of the screen there, it's high resolution, so I can accelerate. Yeah, I mean it will be slow because it takes some time, but yeah, you can check the replays, and we have the same for the other games. Yeah. Yeah. Any other question? Yeah.
So these are played in a special browser. Is there a reason why the functionality of the browser can't be packaged into like a library that's compiled into the game itself? Like a standalone Etherplay game?
You mean so currently if you can have a plugin, so this plugin allow you to play the game. This one, like it's called MetaMask, and if you have that installed, it works on Chrome and I think Firefox. I never tried on Firefox, and with that you can interact with anything on Ethereum, including the Etherplay. We could also implement all the encryption and all the stuff on the JavaScript side ourselves, but we just don't want because of the security. It means now we are in control of the player fund. It means that if something happens, we will feel responsible, and also it's a lot of things to do. So basically we expect the ecosystem to evolve and have this. So there is quite a few actually. Now it works on mobile as well, but only on the test net. So I mean, I was showing this stuff. I don't know which one was it. Yeah, so there is 4 available right now. I mean, actually there is more, but some they cannot browse the web, so you need to have an interface made inside one of the mobile app. But this one, they all support anything that run on the web. And the Mist one is the one that is built by the Ethereum Foundation and is the one that supports the distributed file storage. But to be fair, this distributed file storage version I showed, it's experimental really, because the the swarm is not ready yet, and yeah. So I'm not sure even it synced properly. It was on my local machine, so it was not actually really distributed. Yeah. Yeah. Any question? Yeah.
Still don't know exactly how the game functions. Is the game running just as a JavaScript game running in the user's browser?
Yeah. So it's different. There is, yeah, I want to say we have two things. So there is the skill game platform. In that case, the game run on the browser, and we have a backend that verify it. In the case of the two-player game, actually we are not involved at all.
Yeah.
So it's two different things. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
why it's like tied to browsers? Why can't we have a native like game on Steam or whatever that uses the?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. For the reason why is to make a platform. I mean, you want to be more open, basically. So, I mean, and the scale of the game, but yeah, it can be done. Even the platform itself, the Etherplay platform, we could. I will not. If someone wants to make a game like on Steam, no problem. We just need to kind of work together to provide APIs through whatever language used, whatever. Yeah.
Sorry, I've got a question from a slightly different perspective. If you're paying the money and you can win something, is that considered as a gambling?
So it depends of which country you live in, basically.
You
So
might not be able to play like from USA, for example.
it depends of the state in the USA. Yeah.
Or the state, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we check that. We check the IP. We use the IP, which is yeah. I mean, and I guess for yeah. I mean, yeah. Yep.
You have to trust the game developer that he doesn't rip the game.
Yes. Yeah. So this is we cannot just hey, here is the API and have a upload button for the game. We need to work with them because they could. One thing, so if they were doing it, it will be technically it should be visible in terms of when you look at the replay, because you will see something weird, that maybe the score jump or maybe avoid something. So there will be a way for the player kind of to complain, and I guess there will be then a way for us to say, okay, sorry, but you are out now or something. Yeah. Any other question? Okay, cool. Thank you.